welcome to Crank It Up. I'm Jim Price, and today I'm probably going to get yelled at. What's the most powerful combination in a game with over 3,000? This is a deeply personal, impossible to answer question, and like last week's question, is incredibly fruitless. And if you do answer, there are many people who will immediately try to prove you wrong, often in flawed ways designed to prove their own point. But I'm going to do it anyway. I want to note that I'm recording this well in advance of it airing, so I have time to work on video 500, and this should be 499, so I haven't seen the comments from the previous week in terms of who predicted what this combo would be. I believe this question is impossible to solve because players tend to assume that wins are transitive when they are not. Look, I clearly love my Atlanta Braves, the 2021 World Champions, and at this rate, the last baseball team to ever win a World Series, but are they the best team in the league? No. They got dealt a major favor by having to not play the Giants, and the Dodgers got lucky, so the Braves ended up facing them instead. And Eddie Rosario had video game numbers that series. And in baseball, we tend to prioritize or fantasize about home runs because they are instant offense, but the truth is, if you built a team where every hitter hit 350, that team is going to win because consistency is everything. Because how do you counter consistency? There are certainly some truly broken combinations out there. Rockstar Innsmouth with Dagon, Hydra Innsmouth with Dagon, Ghost Rockstars on occasion. A lot of swarm combinations that just explode on a single turn. But these combos all have their counters. If you can stop swarm from occurring, what do? My combo isn't nearly as flashy, but it's still devastating. And player count also plays a big role in how you perceive faction strength. But I played this combo a lot with 2 and a little with 3, and it still feels brutal at 3. Just in a different way. Does this combination have the highest ceiling out of all combos I've ever played? No, but the ceiling is still insanely high. And more importantly, they have an extremely high floor, they are extremely difficult to counter, and they are still a counter to many of the combos I just mentioned. How is that all possible? It's because this combo is truly insane, and it almost never gets talked about, which I attribute to it being composed of 2 commonly banned factions, zombies and geeks. Now, if you haven't played this combo, you need to set your initial reaction aside. I imagine some players will say there's no way, but bear with me. This is the only combination of released factions where I truly felt dirty, like the game was unfun and unfair in the worst possible way. I'm not even sure where to start. Let's start with the fact that the first time that any time you play Geeks, you are playing with a 36 card deck. That's because the fans can easily be thrown away for unblockable card draw. But when I play this combo, sometimes it feels like I'm playing with a 32 card deck or even a 28 card deck. Not enough bullets pulls all the fans back. That basically means draw 4 cards for free. And if you use non-infinite loop, you do it again. If you eliminate 12 cards from your deck, it means you are playing with a very thin deck of super broken cards that absolutely decimate your opponents. But how do your fans get into the discard? If you don't draw them, they are a perfect target for Mall Crawl because it accomplishes the same effect. If you drew the fans, you just discard them and draw replacements, which would be the same cards you would draw if the fans weren't in the deck at all. But for all its strengths, the one fan weakness is that they are bad to draw in phase 4 because that's when you can't toss them, which means you aren't drawing one of your 3 interrupts. So making sure you never draw them is super impactful because it means that you are that much more likely to get an interrupt. You may be asking, what about Mall Crawling Tenacious Z? The truth is that you don't need them right away, not yet at least. How do you beat the Geeks? Typically, you survive them. You get through their specials and still have bullets left. So what do you do when zombie geeks have an infinite recursion engine to keep getting their insane cards? And let's be clear about what this means. Felicia Day resets the entire board. The entire board. Felicia Day can generate an extreme overpayment on a 4-3 base, or you can math out an efficient victory on a 4-2 base. Control Minion is an uncapped temporary steal that usually makes the difference. You might think, how do I counter that? With Yokozuna? Well, I can take control of Yokozuna, then do the movement, then swat away a minion if I need to knock someone else down further. What if my minions are protected with an action? I'll transfer it away. Should we really keep going? Even not playing them antagonistically, Zombie Geeks have a great burst. Zombie Lord for 2 fans is 9 power in 2-player, plus a Tenacious Z for 2 for 11, plus Felicia Day from the discard for 15, bringing everything with her. This is a great play to abuse their coming to get you, where Zombie Lord is played from the discard there, Felicia Day wipes the board elsewhere, leaving another opening for a full Zombie Lord the next turn. And whatever counter you think is going to disrupt this, Geeks have a counter to that, and they can get it back. Play Will Wheaton to stop any big play, then wipe the board, then use Gravedigger to get back Will Wheaton. In fact, if you use Will Wheaton to stop a big play to end a turn, that brings your burst potential to 19. What's super frustrating about this combo is that they are content to do nothing and can keep the game close doing the absolute bare minimum. Game Guru is untouchable. In 2 players, you are going to get second place even if you're not trying very hard. Cosplay keeps it even closer. It doesn't matter how much you can explode, because I can throw a Game Guru on a base, then you start dogpiling on another base, then Felicia Day clears them both, or I repeat the process. You've used everything, while I've used basically nothing, and can get it all back. So while I wait for my infinite state of disruption to occur, I'm slowing the game down by not doing much at all, barely adding power, knowing time is on my side, and you can't kick me off anyway. But how does Zombie Geeks counter some of these insane combos? Well, if you used the word Innsmouth before, go ahead and cross that off the list. The same is true of Rockstars, Hydra, or any combination that relies on multiple quantities of the same minion. But Control Minion can also stop the chain of extra plays by taking away the resolution and even giving Zombie Geeks some extra plays. With Control Minion and Will Wheaton, I can stop your entire turn, and I feel that I need to keep emphasizing this. I can get them back easily. When I can stop your turn whenever I want, knowing that I can mathematically win and undo everything you just did, that is absolute insanity. And this is possible because the deck is so thin. I play this combination very aggressively. Anything that is not immediately mission critical is getting discarded by Walker. And going into the game, I know what those are. Mulligan, Rules Lawyer, Outbreak, Tenacious Z's, other Walkers, potentially ban list, sometimes even other Game Gurus, fans. Either I absolutely need the card right now, or I don't, so Walker can actually be very impactful in this context. This leads to an insane amount of consistency for this deck. I've gotten this far without even mentioning min-maxing and the fact that it uses their best action against them, and you can see how quickly this spirals out of control. However, I will say this. If you get extremely unlucky with a terrible opening hand and you consistently draw nothing but actions, this combo will struggle at first. And I'm talking like 4 or 5 turns of bad draws in a row, where your opening hand is like Fan, double Rules Lawyer, and 2 recurrence actions. But even though this has happened to me, it still won out in the end because time was on my side and their shutdown factor is so high. Cosplay and Game Guru kept the game competitive. If you remember, in 2-player, Smash Up is a 5-base game. You can lose the first 2, come back and win all 3, and win the game. Having free-to-play VP from Cosplay, which you can recur, makes it even likelier. However, this deck has also created plenty of 16-8 victories where they win every base in dominating fashion. If you know your deck and know everyone else's, the combination can be extremely overpowering. I've never lost with it. It's beaten me badly. It feels wrong and doesn't have an obvious counter because even if you reset the discard, which is pretty rare, you're still giving them back all of their bullets for another round. And they can stop this from happening or just mill again quickly, and I'm not really afraid of any faction with that skill in terms of an equally strong combo. Still, nothing is unbeatable, and I'd be generally curious to see this combination go up against minions of Anansi. While Banlist would be very strong against Madness in hand, the zombies have no way of easily getting rid of it, and Anansi can sling them from the deck just as easily. If there's one thing Geeks cannot do, it's affect Titans, so if there were a Titan who grew its own power and was easily replayable, like a Cthulhu, that could tip the scales. But as strong as Minions of Anansi is, they are definitely beatable themselves and easily counterable, because like I said, nothing is unbeatable and everything has its counter. It's just that this counter is extremely rare and I'm not entirely sure what they is, because they still have such a great offensive game plan while having the ability to completely shut down your plays. Kaiju would be another strong candidate as well, because Will Wheaton doesn't have as many impact actions to target and Felicia Day is largely taken out, but Rules Lawyer is still in existence. But in many ways the Kaiju actions act like Game Gurus in their own right because they are that much harder to destroy. Does Zombie Geeks have the greatest power drops? No. Do they have the flashiest plays and get a lot of attention? No. But do they wreck shop, control the board, win games, and destroy your friendships? Absolutely. And they deserve to be in the top conversation. Are they the best combo in the game? I'm never going to say anyone is, because I can't prove it, and neither can you. But they are consistently the combo that makes me feel sick when I play as or against them, and they have produced devastating scores and devastating results. To re-emphasize my original point, they are not only devastating, they are relatively counterproof, and they counter many overpowered combinations. Not many combos get to say that they are relatively counterproof, while also being counters themselves. Do you have experience with zombie geeks? What's your number 1 combo, and why do you think that is? Let me know in the comments. Well, that's it for number 499. We'll see you on Monday for 500. It's going to be a different style of video, but I really think you'll enjoy it because we have a number of guest things planned, and it's just a way to celebrate all the great people who make this channel possible. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let's shut it down.